Okay, lawn fans, you ready? The backyard, Zion zoysia. Man, it's beautiful. It's hard for you guys to see right now because of the shade and the spotty sun coming through, but man, that color is awesome. And God, the way that it feels on your feet. Fine blade. Right there. You pull one of these blades up. Can you guys see that? It feels so good on your feet. I love it. If you look straight down through there, those were all strips. I'm talking about right here. Those were all strips that came from cutting this sod. Maybe they weren't cut right at the sod farm. And so what I plan on doing with that is this next year, I'm gonna plug all that out in this area here. But what I plan to do right now, not today, but this weekend, is I'm gonna hit the scarifier, go ahead and rip all this soil up, plant some tall turf type fescue out there. And that's gonna help with erosion over the winter, but it may also be what I have to go with because of the shade that's out there. Now, right now, we're at the very beginning of fall. The sun is over my shoulder over here. This normally gets a lot more sun during the afternoon. This is what you see out here right now. Right now I'm sitting at about 4:30 in the afternoon. So I just want to give you guys an update on the backyard. I mean, wish I would have put that much time and effort and just gotten this zoysia from the very beginning when I moved in here. And I do have my fingers crossed that that's gonna resolve all of my problems. Let's talk about the front yard. Oh, well, let me go back to the zoysia. What have I done so far with that? I put out 2 different fertilizers on that, and a 16-4-8 and I forget what the other one was, 17-4-8, I believe is what it was. So I put that out there, and it's growing like crazy right now, which I'm happy about. I'm just having to cut a little bit more. Out here, let's talk about the front yard. This is September the 12th. You're gonna see leaves already starting to drop. These trees are starting to change a little bit of color. I'm gonna be dealing with that over the next 2 months, with my peak coming probably mid-October to late October. Right now, to me, my yard looks pretty good, but if you'd have looked at it here a week or so ago, I was so frustrated with my reel mower. This is rotary, and I'm at 1 inch exactly with rotary. I'm a lot happier. But if you take a look at this grass, and I don't know if it'll show up on this video, but go in an angle, you'll see, I don't know what you want to call it, wheel marks, unevenness, whatever. And that all came from my McLean. And y'all, let me tell you, I went and bought a new bed knife for this thing. I swapped the motor out on it. I had the reel and the bed knife ground. Did everything I could. It seemed like I spent more time with that daggum reel mower this summer and working on it than I did the time that I actually cut. And it was frustrating as hell. To the point where I got in this fall, where I was just like, man, I'm into college football. I'm not into the lawn. And I just want to come out here and cut and enjoy the cut. And that's what I did yesterday. I came out here. I got the old Toro 22-inch out, and I cut this lawn, and man, I enjoyed that cut. Now, I did have a few issues. With my reel, I come along these edges, and I cut them, and they're nice and smooth. But with the rotary, I have to get my rotary cutting skills back and realize I cannot cut the same way that I do with the reel mower. So I had a few issues like that right there. But the lawn looks good right now. And another issue I think I'm having with my lawn, or had with my lawn, is that I didn't come through and scarify it midsummer and break up that thickness like I should have. And so the lawn is extremely thick. You know, look at it right there. It's very thick right now. So it needed to be thinned out. Another problem this time of year you guys may see with here in Georgia, we have humidity, rain, warm nights. It's the perfect environment for fungus. And so what you want to do is you want to put out a preventative measure of fungicides. Make sure that sits on the, you want to put it out probably 2 days after your cut or 2 days before your cut, and let it sit 24 hours before you do anything. You're going to start to see army worms. You're going to start to see grubs and things like that, you need to make sure that you put out a preventative measure of an insecticide on the lawn. And those are all things that are going to help you in the long run this fall with your lawn. Now, like I said, I'm a college football guy. I will be rotary cutting this the rest of the season. I just swapped the engine out on the real mower to a Predator, got rid of the Briggs & Stratton. I'm gonna take my mower, my real mower, to a guy in Dalton, or it's about an hour from here, and I'm gonna leave it there and I'm gonna let him work on it and get this thing running right like it should be running for me versus me spending all my time messing with it. And then hopefully when the spring gets here, everything will be good to go and I'll be a happy camper with it. I'm just tired of fooling with it. So what else will I put out on my yard the rest of this season? Well, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of snake oil that's out on the market, and I fell in the trap of all the snake oils. And I put out every different type of product you could probably imagine on my lawn in the past few years. And what I started to stop and think is, my yard looking better after I put these products out because the amount of water that I'm putting out to water the products in. And those products are already 98% water. So I'm putting water, and then a watered down product out of my yard. Well, yeah, it's gonna be green because I'm giving a lot of water. Now, when I got lazy during the summer and I quit putting all that water out of my yard, focusing on the backyard, my yard started looking brownish. I started hammering it with water again after I realized I was lazy, and man, it turned green again. So that's just some food for thought. Stop and think about the reasons why your yard might look good and might not, and start to think and research products before you go and you spend the money on them. I think that might save you guys a lot of money in the long run. So what am I gonna put out here? Rest of the season, I'm gonna clean off the shelves in my garage and get all that stuff. I'll probably put it out here on the yard. And then I bet you next season, I won't use 80% of that. I'm just not gonna. I've worked so hard on this soil in the past few years. I've got the soil good where I want it. The grass is going right. One of my good buddies told me, he said, Brian, I don't care what my soil's like, just as long as I don't have weeds in my yard and my grass is green. And that's where I'm at right now. I've done a lot with this soil, and people in the neighborhood, guys that have scalp it, guys that have dethatch it for me at the beginning of the season, they're all like, man, your soil and your grass is so much better. Over this course time, I've been taking care of it. So this is what I will do. I'm gonna get rid of all the product in there, but I'm counting on another round of molasses to help my yard. I believe in that. You guys can argue with me if you want to in the comments, but I believe in molasses. I've seen the benefits of it. I'm going to make sure I stay up with my fungicides and my insecticides all the way through November and the first frost hits. And then I'm not doing any of that. Put your yard to sleep with this and wake your yard up with that stuff. I'm just not doing any of that mess. I'm going to put down, I might go with all organic fertilizer this next year, except when I do bring the yard out of dormancy, I'll pound it with some heavy nitrogen, high percentage. But as far as the fertilizer I use, I'll probably go with the organics, and I just believe that that helps with the microorganisms in the soil, the beneficial fungi in the soil. I believe it builds all that up, and it helps with the tolerance during the heat of the summer by using organics versus throwing synthetic stuff out on the lawn that's heavy in chemicals. And I'm not some kind of weirdo hippie that doesn't believe in using synthetics. I'm just thinking, what do I believe is better for my yard? So that's what I plan on doing. I'm also contemplating this next spring coming out and burning the front yard off like I used to do years ago. It's been probably, gosh, I don't know, maybe 10 years since I burned a yard off, but I'm thinking about doing that this year. Just for an it's easier cleanup on one side than it's tough on the other side, meaning that you're gonna have black soot all over you and your nose and your ears, tracking it in the house and stuff like that for the first few mowings. But anyways, that's something else I'm thinking about doing. So right now, it's all just maintenance, keeping it green. I'm gonna make sure that I'm about to put down a good application of iron on this to get a dark green look, and that's about it. So hope you guys have enjoyed my content this season. Hope you've learned a few things this season. I've learned an immense amount of information from all you guys that I follow or that comment on my videos. I go back and I watch your videos. So I appreciate everything that you've had to offer in the form of advice and maintenance of my mower and of my lawn and all that. Hope you guys have a great off season. I look forward to seeing you guys in the spring. I probably will do a last follow-up on the backyard here shortly. When I say shortly, I say another month. But as far as the front yard goes, this will be your last look at her in a YouTube video until the spring. And that's all, folks. Bermuda Brian out.